But we start with outrage over changes to the way you vote.
These are radical changes that were made in the middle of the night that where lawmakers did not get to hear from voter advocates. So these changes are unnecessary. They will be expensive.
That's our big story tonight at 6. I'm Andrew Kinsey.
And I'm Lindsay Mills in for Yolanda Harris. House Bill 458, which Governor Mike DeWine signed late last week, includes stricter photo ID requirements, eliminates early voting on the Monday before Election Day, eliminates most August special elections, and shortens the deadline to apply to cast absent ballots by mail. 10 TV's Kevin Landers talked with a group that's against this change.
He's joining us live tonight from the State House with what comes next. Kevin.
Well, good evening. The Secretary of State is already being sued over this new voting law. Supporters say it will weed out fraud. Governor DeWine did not mention it during his inauguration address. I asked to speak with him afterwards, but was told no. But I did address this with him about a month ago during our one-on-one interview.
Weeks before Governor Mike DeWine signed House Bill 458, he defended the state's election system and was debating whether to mandate voters show a photo ID to cast a ballot.
Ohio, we do a good job.
So why do we need this? You don't seem to be overly convinced that there's a problem.
Well, look, I think the burden is always on if someone wants to change the status quo. They have a burden of showing that there is a real need for this. So I'm going to look at the bill. I'm going to look at each separate provision that they have made and ultimately make a decision.
DeWine's decision to mandate a photo ID for registered voters has voter rights groups like the League of Women Voters calling for the governor to prove where the voter fraud is happening.
We care about election security and integrity, but this doesn't do that. A strict voter ID law would only stop voter impersonation, which does not exist in the state.
Even Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRosa's own voting poster touts the security and accuracy of Ohio elections. Voting rights groups say they don't believe photo ID requirements make Ohio elections safer.
Fraud is exceedingly rare, and it's never voter impersonation. Voter impersonation is the only thing that a strict photo ID would fix.
But the Secretary of State says nationwide polls conducted in 2021 show people support photo ID before someone casts a ballot to ensure a fair election. The League of Women Voters says while it doesn't plan to file a lawsuit against the state, it does plan to pressure Ohio lawmakers to make sure voters are educated about the new voting laws.
So we're calling on the General Assembly and the governor to fund boards of elections to educate voters on all of these changes to make sure that no one falls through the cracks.
Now, this voting change also eliminates elections on Mondays before the Tuesday election. Critics say this will simply create long lines and disproportionately affect neighborhoods of color. The Ohio Association of Election Officials, a bipartisan group, says it's been pushing for this for a long time so that it can give boards of elections more time to prepare for the Tuesday election. Reporting live outside the State House, Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.